Okay, upgrading the oval back here, and we're going to put a lock nut on it. Yeah, a locking nut on it. So yeah, that goes away. Got that off, and the old nut is the next thing to remove. Couple gentle taps, and it's broken loose, and out it comes. Okay, I put this in place, and then I used this in order to determine where the fret plane is as defined by these two frets, and that also gives you your nut slot height right here by going like this. Use this guy because it'll actually fit in nut slots. So by doing that, I can't do it with only one hand, but yeah, use left hand, you hold this guy here, and then you use right hand and you put this down here, and then you can use your left hand in order to move the nut up and down and see, where you are at versus where you need to be. And it looks like the nut, the whole thing, get it flush up here against the end of the fretboard. It looks like the whole nut needs to be about a mil up from this edge here. So somehow I gotta fill this in and then add another mil's worth of shim here. Kind of an idea. So that's next. Okay, looks like this edge down here is about 2 mil below this edge along here. So about 2 mil of spacer in this channel. Okay, black single ply pick guard 1.5 mil, 2 pieces, and then we got 1 mil maple laminate, and I've marked it out so that it's about the same size as the nut. Need to cut this out. And there's that part. I smoothed around the edges with a bit of 150 grit. Okay, I held it all up here in position, stacked it all up, so to speak, and then put this guy on it again, and it's got just a little bit of wiggle room over the first fret when you're on the second, and it's got maybe about half a business card when you're going from the third fret down to the nut, kind of a thing. So yeah, it's looking pretty good right about like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it up. Super glue, toothpick, a little bit of super glue. Just dabbed it in the slots. Now I got to pop these guys in. Okay, the nut is all glued into place. I glued the wood piece to the bottom of the nut, and then I glued the whole thing onto those two edges basically, and set it so that it was flush with the back end of the fingerboard. And so, as you can see, it's up there, but it's kind of precariously balanced, shall we say. Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? But yeah, it's up there. So here's the deal, is that, I mean, this alone probably would break loose and tilt back. So the two options are, and option one would be pop it back out, add some more shim back here, maybe file this whole thing flat first and put in a whole bunch of shim or something like that. Option two, you'll note that the hold down screws for the nut are on the front side, which means that they'll actually hold it up where it's at, and we don't have anything really to worry about as long as we can get these guys in. Okay, I hit up these two guys here with the micro drill. Well, I gave them a little super glue on the end of the threads just for luck, and then drill ran out of juice. This one ran out of juice. In the process of trying to torque them down, and then I finished out with the regular screwdriver, wherever I put that at. So yeah, they're in now, and it's looking pretty good. There's just a hair of a gap. You can see it there, but it's like, you know, less than a mil. Maybe 0.2 of a mil, something like that. So I don't think that's going to have a major impact on intonation. I can always, like, you know, pry this that way a little bit if I have to, but I don't think I'm going to have to. I think what it is that the screws made it tilt back ever so slightly. So we'll see what happens. You know, I don't think it's going to be an issue, though. Okay, so this guy here on the left, this is one of the stock units that gets modified to create the lightweight tuners. And basically all I do is I just cut this tab off so that it gives it the same footprint as a regular, you know, like closed tuner, closed gear tuner. And this is the result, is you get something that looks like this. These are actually from 2 different vendors with slightly different sized knobs, but I got a whole bunch of these already pre-cut over here, and I'll see if I got what I need for this, and if not, then I got like 3 more sets of 2x2s, so I got enough to do a couple guitars probably. Well, this is what I have to work with in the way of pre-cut ones. I've got 4 small knobs left hand and 1 small knob right hand, so that's not a whole lot of use. And I've got 1 large knob left hand. So I guess I'm going to be cutting some more and do it all in large knobs. And there it is. You hack at it with this thing for a while, and eventually you get it to the point where you can grab it with some pliers and slowly start bending it back and forth until it snaps off. And then you just sand this down a little bit with like some 100 grit and smooth it out, and that gets you a custom lightweight tuner. And there it is. I was lazy, I used 60 instead of 100. And it's all nice and smooth now, ready to go in, and if the player accidentally brushes up against it, it's not going to be an issue. Okay, well, there's 3 left hands. The one that was already done, and I did 2 more. And that's 6. All with large knobs. 5 of them I just did now. These are the tools. Get this guy and you cut it like all the way across from one side and then the other, and that gets you a score going. And then you cut it like halfway across from both sides, and you're actually able to feel it cutting into the metal a bit. And then, you know, maybe back and forth a couple more times, and then you just barely get it to bend. When you bend it, you want to bend it this way so that you're forcing this worm gear towards this other gear, because otherwise you might actually pull this whole section down that way, especially if you don't get this scored well enough. And yeah, I screwed up 1 or 2, 1 I think, that way. So that's the trick, and then I've got 6 washers and 6 screws ready to go. So time to put this puppy together. Yeah, and it's all been sanded too, so is it me or is this a long video? Oh, wait a sec, hold on. Auto rotate's messing with me. Never mind. Alright, yeah, so let me put this together. No, let me stop here. We're at 10. Okay. Until the next episode, everybody, have a good one.